In today's episode, Chef Yossel shows us how to make his simply decadent Delmonico steak with a red wine reduction sauce using Prairie Street Co's Delmonico steaks.
Let's dig in. That is perfection. Hi, welcome back to the Prairie Street Culinary Kitchen. Today, I will be your guest chef, Chef Yossel, and today we will be making my simply decadent Delmonico steaks with a red wine reduction sauce using Prairie Street's Delmonico steaks. So to begin this recipe, we are going to take our beautiful meat that we have been tempering out of the fridge, so it's at about room temperature for about an hour before we start cooking. I do have them tied up here. They do not come like this. I suggest tying them up before you cook them, just to hold it all together so you get a nice even cook all around. We are going to start with some seasoning. So we're going to season, always when you're seasoning, season from above. We're just gonna go a nice light sprinkling on all sides here. We're gonna do some salt. We're gonna hit this side with a little bit of freshly ground black pepper. I'm just gonna flip it on over right here. I'm gonna season the other side with a little bit more salt. Beautiful. Next, we're gonna head on over to the stove. Welcome back. We are at the stove now, and we are going to start with the searing. Whenever you sear, you want to heat your pan dry, no oil, so we avoid all smoking. So here we just have our pan, nothing in it. We're just gonna go and turn on our flame right here. We're gonna go on a medium heat. Our pan is hot. We're going to start with some oil. You want to do a neutral oil so you have a higher smoke point. We're just gonna go in with a little bit. So, safety first, grab a pair of tongs. Make sure you always lay away from you. And you can hear that that's hot. When you're searing the meat, don't play around with it. Just let it be, let it do its thing. Get that sear, get that color. We're looking for about 2 to 3 minutes per side. These steaks are about an inch, so we're maybe a little bit more. So we're just gonna go for about 2 to 3 minutes per side here. As you're searing, feel free to apply a little bit of pressure throughout the piece of meat just so that you're really getting that meat all the way on the hot surface and really getting that nice crust. Okay, so we're about 3 minutes here. And we're just gonna carefully, you can see that color right there. We're just gonna go ahead, just do the same thing, a quick 2 to 3 minutes here. Okay, so we've been just about 2 minutes on this side, and you can see we got some golden brown right there. Just gonna very gently just let that sit right over there. Pan's still hot. We have some of that beef flavor in there, so I'm just gonna go in with the next one. Again, lay away from you. There you go. All right, about 3 minutes later, we have some nice color all the way around. Just gonna let that sit right over here and rest. Okay, meat is out of the pan. We have some fond in the pan. We're just gonna go in here with our mirepoix, some carrot, celery, onion. We have a small dice here, but it could be pretty rough chopped. I'm just gonna go in. Now I'm gonna grab a spoon because you wanna scrape up all that fond in there, so go at it. I'm using here some shallot as opposed to onion. I like that sweeter flavor. It's gonna really add another depth of flavor to this beautiful steak here and the final red wine sauce. But it's really up to your preference. I just like shallot for the sweetness. So we're just gonna slightly sweat down the vegetables. We're not really looking for any caramelization or any color. We're just trying to soften them up, really pick up all those flavors and all that fond in the bottom of the pan. And then next we're gonna go in with our red wine followed by our stock, and that's gonna be the base of our very simple pan sauce, red wine pan sauce. Always like to say, cook with what you like to drink. L'chaim. So as you can see here, our wine has been reduced. We've cooked off that alcohol. Now all we're left is with that delicious wine flavor. It's almost dry, which is exactly what we're looking at before we go in with our stock, which is going to be the base of our sauce. Today I'm just using some beef stock, but feel free to use whatever you have in the fridge. In regards to the stock, definitely lean towards a unsalted because it is going to reduce, the flavors are going to compact. So definitely use an unsalted. If you need salt, you can always season at the end. Once your wine is in, your mirepoix is cooked off, your stock is in, I'm just going to go ahead and add a little bouquet garni here with some thyme and rosemary. And just like a tea bag, I'm just going to kind of let that sit in there and let that aroma just kind of perfume the entire sauce as it reduces. Later when you're done, pick it up and toss it. You're done. As you can see around the side of the pan here, we're at about, halfway up. Give it about 5 to 10 minutes, and this is gonna reduce all the way down to a syrupy, beautiful sauce consistency, and that's what we're looking for. So just give it a few minutes, let it on set your stove at like a medium heat and just set it and forget it. Come back in a few minutes. Our wine, our stock, it's all in the pot. We are at a simmer, a little bit of a higher simmer, but we're just reducing it. And as you can start to see along the side of the pan here, you can see the line where the liquids started. And as it reduces, it's going down. So we're looking at about a 50%, maybe a little bit more reduction, but just kind of pay attention to that line and it will kind of guide you as to when your sauce is done. When you get to that like 50% mark, you're looking good. So our sauce has reduced. It's been about 10 minutes here, and we are looking, as you can see, it is pretty much all reduced. It's a little bit more syrupy, has a little more texture to it, as opposed to before it was very liquidy. I'm just gonna let it cool. I'm gonna put it to the side for a second here. Once that is completely cooled, we will go ahead and strain it, and that will be our finished product. Before that, we're just gonna go and take our meat that's been sitting here and resting on the side, and we're gonna go ahead and just pop it in the oven. The oven I have preheated to about 425, about 3 to 5 minutes, and we'll come out at that perfect 125 to 130 for that medium rare, going up to medium. We are back. Our meat is out of the oven. We've cooked it up to about 125. We are resting it for a few minutes. Very, very important. Always rest your meat. As that's resting, we're gonna go ahead and strain that beautiful sauce. You can totally eat the vegetables, just discard the bouquet garni. I like a strained smooth sauce, so that's what we're gonna go with. And all those vegetables have a lot of flavor in them, so definitely give a nice little push. Give a nice little push. Fully strained, fully pushed through, good to go. I'm just gonna let it sit on the side and just drain for a few more minutes, get every drop out of that. We've reduced that sauce, we've put time into it. You definitely don't wanna throw out any of it, so just let it sit there for a minute. Meat coming up. So our meat out of the oven, golden brown, delicious, looking beautiful. I do have the string on, like I mentioned before, so I'm just gonna go ahead and just take that off to the side right here. Delmonico steaks, ready to slice. We're gonna plate it up, slice it, and eat it. Coming right up. Meat is rested, perfectly cooked. It smells incredible. Sorry you can't smell it. But you will see the beautiful redness, the cook all the way through. We've rested it. We're just in between 125 and 130 now. And beautiful sear. Everything is gorgeous, and I'm so excited to try it. I'm gonna just go ahead over here. We have the bones along the side here, so I'm gonna go carve that off, and then we're just gonna carve right against the grain. Very important, always cut meat against the grain, and we're gonna look at that beautiful, beautiful, beautiful inside. So I'm just gonna start right here. Just follow the knife right along the side here. Going right against the grain, cuts right through just like butter. Gonna slide that right on the plate here. I like when I'm serving it to show off that color, so I'm just gonna go ahead and kind of fan it out just a little bit, just to top off this beautifully delicious and seasoned meat right here, our Delmonico steak. I'm just gonna take some of that delicious red wine pan sauce that we made and just do a nice little drizzle right over the top, just like that. And there you have it, my simply decadent Delmonico steak with the red wine pan sauce, using Prairie Street's Delmonico steaks. I can't wait to dig in. It looks beautiful. You have that sear, you have that perfect medium rare. We're at that perfect 128, 130. Let's dig in. That beefiness, the fat just rendered beautifully when we seared it off. That is perfection. Absolute juiciness, seasoned perfectly. And that is what we're all about here at Prairie. The best meat, the best education, combining it together, giving it to you so that you can feel comfortable and confident in your house to make this delicious steak, along with many more delicious videos that we have on our YouTube channel. Definitely check them out every Sunday at 2 p.m. Thank you, and can't wait to see you next week.
Subscribe to our channel now and set your notifications so you don't miss our latest recipes and chef-led tutorials. Then head over to prairiestreet.co to shop for your next big meal.